I sigh and look from the back of the seat in front of me to the view of the pine trees outside the window to wash away the memory. I wonder if there'll be a skillet where I am headed. I wonder if there'll be everything I need to make the batter. Done with helping the new passengers board, Dorothea comes to check on me. "How you feeling, honey?" she asks. "Just fine," I say. When I talk to Dorothea, I can feel my heritage slipping out. My mom was born in South Carolina, and we lived in New Orleans, and sometimes she'd talk that way, all twangy and polite, especially when she needed something from someone. And sometimes when I'm talking to people from the South, I'll hear it in my own voice. It kind of faded away the couple of years I was in Palm Springs, but it comes back easily. Now, riding the train, I don't know where exactly I belong. "Albuquerque is the next stop where you can get off and stretch your legs," Dorothea says. "It'll be a while, but if you're awake and you'd like to get some fresh air, let me know and we can get off together, okay?" "Okay," I say. She smiles and heads off to do her job. Flagstaff looks nice. It's in the forest and there are big mountains towering above with snow at the top, even now in June. Some of the people who get on look like they've been hiking, and they smell like it too, like sweat and campfire. Which reminds me, I stand up and grab my carry-on bag from the rack above my seat. Inside is a deodorant stick. It smells like lavender, like the laundromat in New Orleans. I look up and down the aisle to make sure nobody is coming, and then reach under my shirt to apply it. Putting the deodorant back, I see my journal. I ignore it and stow the bag on the rack next to the black box. I sit down again and look out the window. We've left town now and are in the woods. If I were writing in my journal, I would tell it about everything that has happened and the people that I've met on the train. I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to see the words my mom wrote on the first page, or see everything I've written and it flash past my eyes, especially the last words I wrote. So I leave it up there in the bag she gave me, the bag with the flowers and hearts. I jump from my seat and rush down the aisle, through the coach, and into the observation car. It's filled with the new faces, people playing cards, and I head downstairs to the snack counter. When I arrive, I see a sign hanging on a velvet rope that tells me the snack counter is closed. I turn around. There's a sunburned man with blonde dreadlocks sleeping on the floor next to a backpack. I rush back up the stairs from the observation lounge, down the aisle into my coach. I see Dorothea talking to a passenger. I can hear my breathing. "Hey, honey, are you okay?" "Yes." "Do you need your puffer?" I hate it when people call it a puffer. I shake my head. "Are you hungry?" "No, Yes." Dorothea smiles like she's got me figured out again. "Neil is taking a break, but he'll be back in there in about half an hour." "Okay, thanks." I feel relief and then realize I was worried Neil wasn't on the train anymore. The crew changes every now and then, and I was afraid he'd gotten off in Flagstaff. "But if you're hungry, I might be able to find something for you before then." Yes, please, thank you." "No problem. Have a seat and I'll just be a sec." I find my seat and sit, feeling better. I try not to feel, mostly. I've gotten good at distracting myself. Ever since I spent the money social services gave me on snacks at Union Station in Los Angeles before I got on the train, I found that feeling incredibly hungry is a good way to not feel anything else. But feeling incredibly hungry isn't much of an alternative, so I'd rather return to distracting myself in the other ways I've learned. One of these is my favorite book, and I take it from my bag. It's really not much of a read, and it's too short and familiar to make the time pass on this train. Maybe it's more like a security blanket in the shape of a book. It's called The Sun is Shining, and it's incredibly sappy, but it works. I know it particularly by heart, but I open it and begin reading. It's almost a chant. "The sun is shining, and shining are the stars. The sun shines near, the stars shine far. Bright is my spirit, bright are my eyes, illuminate my path, decorate the skies." It's small enough to fit in a big pocket, and I've carried it around so much that the corners are rounded. Sometimes it feels like a lullaby, and sometimes it feels like a big lie that I want to believe. I have it memorized, so I don't need to read it, but I like the shape of the letters and the way they look on the page. "Do you like nuts?" Dorothea sits beside me, holding a bag of almonds and walnuts and pecans. I shut the book and nod. "Thank you." I take it with both hands and pull it open with too much force, and a few of the nuts fly up from the bag and then down my lap. Dorothea chuckles and leaves. I fill up on the nuts, and the sun is shining, believing it's lies because I need to. Believing it when I need to, let it save me, is an agreement I have with myself. I don't know. Maybe it isn't a lie. Maybe the sun is shining somewhere. Between Flagstaff and New Mexico, the forest thins out and disappears, and the land becomes a vast stretch of yellow grass with very short cliffs and shallow canyons. The only trees are in the places where the water goes when it rains. The train spends part of the time along the path of old Route 66, and I see some of the architecture from the early days of highways that it's famous for, like a motel made of fake teepees. I learn all this from Carlos, back at the table with him in the observation car. He and I are doing a crossword with Dot, who's also knitting. Working class, 11 letters, starts with a P. I move my lips silently as my fingers count under the table. Proletariat. Where do you learn these words? The tip of his pencil taps on the spaces. That works. He writes it. Dot smiles and shakes her head. My mom used to read me her old college texts because there was never money for children's books. So I heard the Communist Manifesto at an early age. Then there wasn't money for her drug habit, so she sold the college texts and there weren't any books at all. Next clue. Beige adventurers. Carlos smiles, holding the sharp pencil poised. Dot cranes her neck and looks at the paper. What? Carlos nods over my shoulder, and I turn to see 4 wilderness scouts sitting 2 tables behind me. My eyes go back to the crossword, but from the quick look, I see they're all boys of about my age wearing beige scout uniforms in various states of disarray. One of them is very cute. That isn't really a clue, Carlos says. I just wanted Ryder to understand that there are some insufficiently supervised rogue youth conducting reconnaissance on her. What does that mean, I ask. But I've got a pretty good idea. It means they're checking you out, honey, Dot says. I rolled my eyes, probably making fun of my hair. Carlos and Dot look at each other. Ah, youth, Carlos says. I know what means, and I know what youth means, but I have no idea what he means when he's saying, ah, youth. We finish the crossword, and I head back toward my seat. I push the panel to exit the observation car, and in the vestibule between cars stands one of the scout boys. He has sandy-colored hair swept across his forehead, a crooked smile, and he's holding a small guitar. He's more or less standing in my way. Hey, he says. Excuse me, I say, trying to get past him. He doesn't budge. You like playing blackjack? I don't know, I've never played. We're having a little game later on, before taps, playing for a little money to make it interesting. Money doesn't sound interesting, but I don't have any. I didn't bring my money, I say. That's okay, I can loan you a couple dollars. I flinch as he pushes my hair out of my eyes. I'll win them back from you anyway. I scoff. Where and when? Observation lounge after sundown, let's say 9 o'clock. Don't touch my hair without my permission. See you then, he says, and saunters off. I plow through the next door to my coach. I fall into my seat, exasperated. Then I stand and fetch my hearts and flowers bag from the rack and get out my cherry chapstick. I put some on and stare at the back of the seat in front of me. If I want to win some money from him, I'll have to figure out how to play blackjack.